Boy, technology is just... Technology will fuck you up, man. It'll have you thinking the whole...
Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the American Investor Show. Please click subscribe if this is your first time listening. From trader and CEO interviews to breaking news about companies you won't hear anywhere else, nobody does a better job at keeping you in the know when it comes to penny stocks. The term penny stock generally refers to a security issued by a very small company that trades at less than $5 per share. Penny stocks are extremely risky, yet they offer rates of return on investment not seen anywhere else. The host, guest, and callers are not registered financial advisors licensed by any government entity, and therefore, the following should be considered entertainment. The host, guest, and callers disclaim all liability in the event any information, commentary, analysis, opinions, advice, and/or recommendations prove to be inaccurate, incomplete, or unreliable, or result in any investment losses. Before investing in penny stocks, you should consult a professional to determine what strategy may be best for your individual needs. Now, without further ado, your host, Lascelles Anungu.
Yes. Now, we were having sound issues earlier. Press 1 if you can hear me right now, man. Press 1 if you can hear me. Press 1 if you can hear me. Yes, indeed. I want to make sure y'all can hear me before I get excited about this, my favorite topic. Good. All right, man. Shout out to all the people in the building right now. As I say, technology is just doing its best to just embarrass me in front of all these white folks watching right now. But we all good, man. We in the building right now. We're in the building right now, and the market is up. Fuck, I just hate this shit so much. The market is up right now. We're not going anywhere. I mean, for the last couple of days, we've been sideways, and we're up, what, about 8.5 on the futures market. So, look, we're going to be like at right maybe at 290, 291 at the open. So we're still not going anywhere because we're going to sell off again for the most of the day, right? We'll get to a high, and then we'll sell off, because that's just basically what's been happening, all right? That's what happens when you talk about Fed cuts, but at the end of the day, you can't explain how Fed cuts are going to generate higher than expected revenues, because right now, that's not what we have going on. That's not what we have going on right now. All right? At the end of the day, the data is proven. JP Morgan just came out and said it this past week that the second and third quarters of this year, and then we're past the second, third and fourth quarters of this year are going to be some of the worst in the last several years. So how does Fed cuts justify higher prices when companies are showing, lower revenues? I need that explained to me. I need that explained to me. And that, in my opinion, is why we're seeing oil and gold continuing to, rise when we talk about gold, and then crude continuing to go lower. And shout out to everybody in the chat room. Juan Diaz, Kenny Dutton, Trevor Wiley, 3 Hook. Shout out to everybody. Fisher G, what's up, man? M1 Gunner, Curo Network. Shout out to everybody. Londale Carter, all of you guys, man. I'm seeing some people who've been here riding for years with me on this show. Donzel Essex, what's good? Yes, indeed. I said Bitcoin. Yeah, shout out to the Bitcoin traders. It's your day right now. Last time I checked, they were slapping 9, now hitting, going for 10. But we've got to we got to stay on top of this. I believe that this is not the time to get excited. And when I mean that, I mean, taking a long position. You got to be scared to be long here. You got to be pretty scared to be long here. And that's why everybody I know who's long, who's the perma bulls, and they just love, oh yeah, we're going up, up, up. They can't sleep at night. They can't sleep at night. They're constantly checking the futures market, constantly checking what Donald Trump is going to tweet or what he has tweeted. Because they know we're not trading at levels we're supposed to be at. See, when we talk about crude prices, crude it not only indicates the strength of the economy, but also the weakness of an economy. All right. And when you look at crude, you also have to, to accept that the fact that lower crude prices could also be declining because, ladies and gentlemen, we have companies that, don't need as much oil for the future. All right. The oil, the carriers, name another damn oil business. I mean, they're not buying contracts for the future. They're just not. They're just not. And it also shows a decline in expected, sales and growth throughout our economy. There was a great article about that, too, that I read called Oil Prices Hit a New Low. Here's why that might be a bad thing. And I want to cut that out here because falling oil prices mirror signs that global growth is fading. That global growth is fading. And in fact, we had the United States government attempt to get us into a war this past week. I'm not going to, put my tin hat on, but I will say this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little skeptical about what happened in Iran a couple days ago with those tankers exploding. We've seen that page before. We've seen that page before in the CIA's playbook, i.e. the Gulf of Tonkin debacle that got us into the Vietnam War. But again, let me take my tin hat off here. But I just look, I know it. They're losing billions of dollars. Right? You've got people in the White House who've been itching for a war. You've got the global military industrial complex that money is a little tight, right? Money's a little tight since Obama left. Trump's in the White House, and sure, he gets them stacked up. But again, nothing brings in the orders like a war. Right? Yeah, they tried it with Venezuela, but the American people weren't buying the Venezuela argument because the problem is that, the cameras were going to Venezuela and you'd have 5,000 and 10,000 people like celebrating their president. That really doesn't look good. They'd be on the street celebrating, and that's not really good for the visuals. And every time there was a protest against Maduro, it was always outside of the country. It was like in D.C. or, somewhere in Florida or some shit like that. That's not how you get a war popping. You know what I mean? You said Japan already debunked it. Wow. Well, let's talk about what's going to be hot this week, ladies and gentlemen. Going back on what was hot this past week. Shout out to the guys over at Chewie. Got a lot of people burned and a lot of people supposedly made money on it. I didn't touch the stock at all. Chewie is basically another version of Pets.com. It's a store that sells things for your pet. And then all of a sudden it's gotten itself a $14 billion valuation on, I believe, $120 million worth of sales. But look, that's the time we're living in, man. That's the time we're living in. These people don't give a damn. It's cheap money. It's cheap money. Why not get you a 10x valuation? No, that's not even 10x. I don't even know what the PE on that is. Somebody's going to have to do the math for me on that one. But I know this company's not pulling in $1 billion. I know they're not pulling in $1 billion in terms of actual sales. But hey, Let's give them the $14 billion valuation. Let's give them that. They don't care. Well, that's why they don't typically offer the puts and the calls right away when these things go public. Right? They don't offer you that ability because they know you can't afford, with your $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 trading accounts, you really can't afford to short these the way you really want to. Right? So that's why it's, I don't know whether or not calls or puts are available on these yet. But supposedly this is another company that has a, quote, path to profitability. They're just all bullshitting us at the end of the day, man. They're all just bullshit. They're just bullshitting the people. Just continuing to bullshit the people. Here's Uber. I don't know how people trade this. I really don't understand how people trade this. This is a disaster. Look at that. What is that? A couple heart attacks in there. Couple heart attacks. Let's take a look at Lyft. Let's see what else is going on with Lyft. That's not really doing anything either. Said Pred has been really good for you. Happy Father's Day. Yes. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the building right now. Throw your tickers out into the chat room. Let's take a look at them. Throw your tickers out into the chat room because everybody says, oh, Sal, you don't talk about penny stocks anymore. Okay. Throw your tickers out there. We'll take a look at them. But look, if it's shit, I'll tell you it's shit. And people don't like that a lot of times. But shout out to the people who jumped on GME on GameStop. We had a little segment about that 2 shows ago. And we said, look, this is going to be a major loser. And dirt cheap options. Sure enough, I think it was like 2 days after that show, the stock gapped down on some horrible news with the CEO, COO, chief quote-unquote experience officer. He quit. So fundamental change in the business, right? I mean, fundamental change. Guys are playing more PC games. The stock was a loser for the most part, but we definitely weren't expecting the gap down. So that came as a blessing. That came as a big, big blessing. Pred, shout out to the Iceman, man. Shout out to the Iceman, Ken, on Pred. Look, they're doing a solid job over there pushing Pred, and I got quite a few videos on that 2017. They came back to me about a week ago and wanted me to make a video for Pred, but I wasn't feeling it. At this point, I just kind of, I saw the fact that they're kind of struggling with the news aspect. And the last couple news releases were, I don't know. I didn't see the justification for the prices at those levels. But I like, if we get back to the 450s, I like Pred at 450. If it continues to hold at 25 moving average, it's pretty. But at 657, 580 or something, they had reached out to me. I didn't want to be a part of that at that level. But, call me back at 450. I'd like that. But Pred, at the same time, we need to see some real developments being, put out here. Where's the studies? Where's the, where's the beef, basically, when we talk about PRED? Where's the beef? 'That's where we got to, 7, 8, 9, 10. No studies, no real backing of any kind. I mean, let's keep it going. Deficit is running crazy. Absolutely, the deficit is running crazy. But look, like I said, they don't care, man. These people will bankrupt the whole entire country. They don't care. Look, we're sitting at all-time highs over the last 10 years, and we're talking about rate cuts at these levels. There's no justification for that. Not at all. There's no justification for rate levels at where we are right now. I'm not an economist. But don't say it's because people don't have jobs or something. You're putting out information telling us that the economy is great. Every day you're putting it out. The economy is this. The economy is that. SBUX, Starbucks. Starbucks has always been one of those companies I've been interested in, but I just never really got around to actually putting a bet in. Just like it's there, but it's just like, it is what it is. It's never been my thing. Coffee's just never been my thing like that. What do I think about the India tariffs on the U.S.? Well, look, again, I need somebody to explain to me how this tariff war that is now global, how do you justify us going past all-time highs now with tariffs? You had Mnuchin come out last week and said, oh, we'll still hit 3% regardless of the tariffs. How does that work? How does that work? PAYX. Paychecks. Shout out to the guys who are playing these winners. If you've been in them for a while and doing well, shout out to you. If you've been in them and doing well, shout out to you. Pay a part-time job at Online Groceries Gold. Okay. Curon, you were working for them? Here's Hack the Cybercrime ETF. Low volume, though. But these low volume ETFs are actually like really great plays for iron condors. These low volumes, I don't know where you're gonna have to, the spreads on the options can be a bit funny, but if you can get it to work out for you, iron condors on these kinds of low volume ETFs really, really work. And email me. I got a guy who has videos on YouTube. He's not very popular. He's literally only got like 2,000, 3,000 subscribers, but he's got some really great iron condor videos that should be way more popular than they are. Unfortunately, just, YouTube is kind of one of those things where if you didn't get in a couple years ago, it's just really hard to show out now. Well, you got to understand that I put out a tweet today, or I think it was yesterday on YouTube, that coming out of OTC penny stocks, right? That most of those companies are shit, right? That the best side, or the where the money to make money on the OTC side is really on the short side. Really on the short side. Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to be honest with that, but it's really on there's a shitload of money to be made on the short side when we talk about OTC stocks, right? Because we know some of those companies, just the overwhelming majority of those companies, to be honest, aren't going to make it. So when you graduate from that and you get into these higher market cap stocks, right? They've got 10Qs that are 120, 130 pages. A lot of legalese, tons of zeros in the revenue category, right? Balance sheets with just tons of zeros behind them. But the game is very much the same. The promoters there are called analysts at that level, and they put out bullshit reports full of a lot of fluff, very similar to what you'll see in the OTC side. Go read some of those reports on companies like Wayfarer. I got a report coming on my site later this week about how Wayfarer is, just complete bullshit, but it's just, they're talking about how big the market is and the potential. And just a load of shit. Just a load of shit. And this company can't make a dime to save its life. That's a company that can't get, they just can't get anything started over there. STOR 355. What's going on, Jordan? STOR, let's take a look at it. Don't know anything about the company, Store Capital Corporation. You guys bringing up a lot of new tickers today. Don't know anything about the company, but hey, man, what a chart, right? Look, obviously it's been doing really well. Real estate investment trust. That's a pretty high PE for a REIT, my man. But, hey, $8 billion market cap, 92 employees. And they're a real estate investment trust. They have a shitload of real estate that's generating some good returns, but and let me know what those dividends are, because they got to be nice and fat paying that kind of money for these prices. I got my Discord open somewhere. The fuck? The hell was that? Hold on, guys. I think I got the Discord open somewhere, but I don't see it. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Shout out to the guys who are joining BlackBox right now for that free 5-day promotion. We're offering a free 5-day promotion. If you hit me, I think Jenny's overwhelmed now, but today was the last day to get in for the 5-day promotion. It started today. It started today. Guys who got their logins today, you can use the software all week, free of charge, no credit card required. All right. Bought it at 50, Kenny. Yeah, nice play. Nice play if you bought it at 50. Nice play if you bought it at 50. But look, you guys know I'm very biased to the short side. Just because I want an opportunity to get Amazon and Walmart and FedEx and great American companies for what they really should be trading at. I think that's fair. VER, penny stock that's really took off this last couple months here. 2019 has been very, very good for the stock, up almost $3 a share. VER, nice play. I got to give it to you. I give a hand of a round applause to you for that one, my man. That was a nice play there. You get me for that play. I'll give you that one. Yes, sir. SQQQ is probably just oppose one another. How do you read this? Well, I don't put them on top of one another. Again, Londell, you're looking at SQQQ. That's the leveraged version of the QQQ ETF, right? Inverted, leveraged version of that, leveraged by 3X. It's a very dangerous product. But obviously, if you're in it on the right day, it can make a lot of money for you. All right, so definitely do have some options available on this, but you're gonna have to be really patient with something like this because again, we're in full pump mode right now. So we've got in the stock market that's really fighting against some blatantly negative news, and continues to go up. I don't even get mad anymore. It's just funny at this point. It's just funny. And everybody's like, oh, Sal, just go long. Just go long. But I'm like, look, you put up the chart. We haven't gone anywhere. You hold it for like a week and a half, and then next thing you know, you're losing money. Absolutely, SEC Trader. I'm in the BlackBox Discord room during the day. I don't speak very much. I don't speak very much when I'm in there because I'm always looking for trades. And I got a BlackBox video coming out this week on the alerts. I'm going to tell you something somebody will never teach you ever at BlackBox. Because there's so many alerts that come out, right? Because, it's continuing to scan, 13,000 stocks per second. All right, every second, scanning. I'm only jumping in on an alert if it's up 50%. No one's going to tell you. I'm going to break it down for you in the video, but I'm only jumping on an alert if it's already up 50%. I'll show you. I'll explain in the video. It sounds absolutely ridiculous with me just saying it. But I'll show you the days that, at BlackBox we generate the 200% winners, the 300, 400, 600% winners, like we did a couple days ago. If you jump in on tickers, right, on option trades that are up 50%, it's nearly 6 in 10 chance at the 50% mark that we're getting to 100. That right there will cut out 95% of all the alerts that come out that day. That's how you win with BlackBox. But I didn't learn that from anyone. I figured it out myself. I'll put it out there in a couple of days. But right now, they got a lot of onboarding to do. And I don't want to confuse people as well. Yes, indeed. A lot of cheap options. And the cheap options are always, we had, what's his name? Bad Scientist come on last week, or almost 2 weeks ago, actually now, where he talked about, those $25 to $75 stocks. He was absolutely right. When you look at some of those, when you look at USO, Bank of America, who else? When you look at the Ubers of the world, Lyfts of the world, when you look at Snapchats, very liquid options that are very, very cheap, relatively inexpensive, that give you the opportunity to participate without necessarily having to, expend a large amount. And I don't want to hear anybody talk about the PDT rule. That shouldn't even be like something that you face. You should be using a cash account. Unless you want to sell options. If you use a cash account and you have, let's say, $2,500, right? You have $2,500. Well, cash accounts are T+2. So you would separate, you would just, divide your 25 in half, right? So you have 1,250, right? 1,250. So you use your 1,250 that you have for 3 days. And then after your 1,250, which I hope you haven't lost any money on, but if you do, it's fine. But you just segregate yourself to 1,250, and once that's capped, whether that be that day or over the next 2 days, then on that third day you've got that second 1,250, right? You got that second 1,250, and while the first 1,250 settles over 3 days, then it comes back. So you'll have an opportunity to trade every single day under a cash account. Every single day you can take a position under a cash account. You just have to divide your balance in half. That's all you've got to do. And I just hope that you don't lose money, But shit's going to happen. Just whatever you do, don't touch that second half. Just don't touch that second half. So you can trade every day with a cash account until you get to that level that you want the margin because you want to do some fancy stuff. Like iron condors, like verticals, calendars and shit like that. Let's take a look at some tickers. LAHO. OTC, LAHO. Let me know what's going on here. This looks, god damn, this looks boring as fuck. Look at that. Look at that volume, bro. So much paper out there. Yeah, they got to take some of this paper off me. 377 million shares traded, and it didn't move a muscle. No gain or loss on Friday. There's a lot of paper out there on LAHO, JJK. Got to get that share structure down a little bit, man. Send them an email. Some of these companies, they just need to hear from you, particularly OTC. These companies, you're only a person away from the CEO when you're talking about a lot of these OTC stocks. You know, sometimes the guy who picks up the phone is the CEO. Be like, hey, I'm very interested in your company. I like what you guys are doing. I'm excited about, possibly being an investor, but the share structure looks, a bit high. You mind telling me what's going on here? They'll tell you reason why they have it that high, or that they're looking to do something about it. Get involved. PTN, Palantir. Let's take a look at Palantir. Yeah, not looking so pretty over the last couple months, but let's just take a look at the monthly to see kind of how that's hurt us. So not so bad when you spread it out a little bit. So obviously, looking at it this way, and again, if you're a long-term shareholder, it might make sense for you. Obviously, having some trouble breaking out of some multi-month resistance levels here. So there's an issue at the 140s. Figure out what that is, and why you want to continue to hold here. But obviously, there's been some issues here. I mean, this is going back years, right? Actually, multi-year resistance levels here at the 140s. This is 2014, bro. So either this is just guys looking at these long-term charts and saying, okay, for my safety, I want to get out here. Or, there's some serious issues where people question the value of the company at the 140 level. All right. So look into the financials, look into some recent news to see what's the problem. What problem do they have at some of those levels here? 140s, 150s. Felix Sapini, how do you get in? Are we talking about the BlackBox offer? Email me. I'll try to send you, the email while I'm on the show, but I can't really slow things down here. Let's keep it going. NIO. Oh, man, this is so ugly. Yeah, let me give him the R. Kelly.
I believe I can.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere, my man. That's not going anywhere. But look, are you trying to play the bounce here? It's not something I would do, right? I mean, it's particularly where you're still at the 20 RSI. I mean, I'd love to, stock like this. If we get into that single-digit RSI level, makes perfect sense there. All right, we can get that at single-digit RSI level, but we're still at 20, and it could very well continue to go lower. In fact, you could get a gap lower. In fact, you had something like that last trading day, and you very much could get another one here soon. So makes sense. I understand the gap. The trying to catch the bounce thing. I get that. I get that. Binding letter of 8K, JJK, rare in the OTC reverse merge. Who's spinning into it? What are they getting, JJK? DHX. Employment services. P Bank. What is this? Like a manpower group type of thing? Labeled as employment services company. Doing really well here with those higher lows. Almost like a little staircase to heaven pattern there. It's beautiful. Guys get excited but are more than happy to step in and buy back on the dips. And holding some of those RSI levels really, really well. We talked about that 40 to 80 pattern. That if you haven't seen my RSI video, definitely take a look at that. And this is a great example. This stock is a great example of that 40 to 80 pattern where you're just hugging that bullish momentum, and it's just staying there, holding that 40, making sure it's tapping 80, just identifying that, hey, this is a stock that's worth holding. And if you see every time it's hitting that 40, guys are stepping up and buying loads of stock. Nice play on DHX. Nice play on that. Yeah, great way to use Mark Hayden's, RSI, the guide book. I got it on my website, thetraderslibrary.com. Check it out there, or just watch my video on it to learn how to use that strategy. Perfect opportunity for you to identify clear, entries for stocks that are currently under bullish momentum or bearish momentum as well. Great shorting opportunities. SU Suncor Energy. Explain is this oil and gas? We just talked about how the crude, is really suffering. Again, we had a horrible PMI come out. I don't want to guess the number, but it was really bad. So manufacturing is taking a hit. These companies aren't putting out a lot of product. It hurts the whole chain. Trucking business slows. Got some truckers who are saying, that business is slowing a little bit. That they're waiting at the stations a little longer. That they aren't getting loads like they used to. Talk to these guys who are at the ground level. They'll tell you. I got construction worker friends or associates who tell me, it's, in between jobs, it's getting a little longer than usual. Okay, staffing outsourcing company. Yeah. SEM. Let's take a look. Well, the China trade war is just, really doesn't make sense because, we talk about the fact that they have an unfair advantage, but a lot of people don't understand that if it was dollar for dollar, the Chinese worker actually earns about $20 an hour if all things were equal. Because you got to understand, in China, they do get free health care. Chinese workers get free health care. Chinese people go to college for free. They got a lot of things that, we don't know about, but they do get quite a bit of benefits for being under that, obviously, state-sponsored system, which is called communism. All right. So you got to understand the trade war has a lot of, we're basically trying to force them to open up their economy and not support their people. People got to dig deeper into what's going on in that China war situation. SEM, Select Medical Holdings. Somebody brought it up, and I'm not seeing what's to get excited about here on SEM. I'm not very happy with that volume too. I'm just not a sucker for low volume plays. Is there a way to scan for options that have moved 50%? Yes, RW. I'm talking about when you pull up the alerts. I'm talking about the alerts. In the filter section, that's where you can pull it up. But I'm talking about the pure alerts that come out. You're able to see, since the alert, where the option is in terms of a gain. And I'm only touching if it has passed 50%, and then I'm giving myself a 25% stop loss. So I'm willing to lose, 25% at my entry at the 50 on every trade. IWM. Let's take a look at Monster Beverage. Kind of forgot about Monster Beverage, my man. Monster Beverage. Nice play here. Tell us what you're seeing. Again, guys, you can give me a call if you want and talk about your stock here. Tell us why other traders should, why other traders should buy it, why they should be interested in it, or why the stock is shit and you think everybody should short it, and tell their friends. Let me know. But MNST, what do you see in it, soccer? Juventus soccer? I didn't think Monster Beverage was this liquid. God, do they really have a $33 billion market cap? I mean, I know Monster is good, but I know that's not the only product, right? Monster Beverage has got to have some other products. I know they don't have a $33 billion market cap and all they have is a damn drink. Okay, it is a holding company. All right, so I figure they do have some other assets under there. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Net income, $821 million. God damn, look at these PE ratios for, consumer cyclical products. I mean, come on. 32 times earnings? And they sell drinks? This is crazy, man. But maybe I've been, reading too much of that securities analysis, man. When I first got into trading, I was reading books like that where they were talking about that 1718 for companies that sell food and beverages and those kind of things. That's kind of where you want to, where it's respectable to be. Paying that kind of money for those kind of stocks. But now when we see companies like McDonald's trading in the 30s. Oh, let's not even talk about BYND. I mean, I don't even know what they're at. But just ridiculous PE ratios on Beyond Meat at this point. Thank you, Rel. Yeah, that's a nice little video. I want people to watch that. Follow me on Instagram at Got Penny Stocks. I just put out a great video by that guy, I forgot what he's called, the iconic economist or something like that, skeptical economist. But anyway, I posted that on my Instagram. Great little video. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GOT Penny Stocks. The U.S. using bullying tactics. They want U.S. companies to have full reign over Chinese population. Absolutely, T-Bone. Absolutely. And the Chinese people are fighting it, man. But they understand what happens when you get people like Sinclair Broadcasting to come into your country and fill your children with all kind of disgusting, perverted material. They don't want that shit. There are only 4 to 5 movies from America every year that are allowed into China. Do you know that? Do you know that some rap artists in America are banned in China? They know our shit is disgusting. They know our shit is perverted. They know it harms the minds of children. They don't want that shit. And I don't blame them, man. What it does to your mind to hear, I'ma kill you, nigga. Oh, fuck that. My bitch. Yeah, fuck it. Suck my dick. Boom, boom. Every day. That's drastic shit that does to your mind. Shout out to the Chinese, man. Shout out to the Chinese, man. I respect them for that. You want, if you're a Chinese man, let's say you're a Chinese farmer, providing your local community with healthy, naturally grown beef, you want Monsanto to come into your country? You know what they've done to us. You want them? Come on, man. We need some people to wake up and see this trade war differently. These Chinese people, they don't want to be controlled, man. They don't want to be controlled. They don't want to be turned into zombies. Yeah, they don't want to be turned into consumer zombies. You know what I mean? Population turn against each other. Start putting out movies that question, the president and question society and question whether or not, you're not really a girl. You're really a guy who is a girl, but you can be both at the same time. Like confusing ass shit. I'm confused. But then again, that's what, let me not get into that one. Let me not get into that one. JT the bullhead trader, he's funny. Let's keep it going. CRON. Kronos Group. Man, this was a high fly that we were really excited about at the beginning of the year. I remember talking about CRN, but again, on the last show we talked about the marijuana companies. They're just not doing a good job of getting Washington to see the big picture. They're just I don't know if they're just not putting money into having these guys go to Washington and really get the word out or what, but they're just not getting it done. And a part of me knows why. Why? Because we have a criminal justice system that at the end of the day will need to be radically changed in order for the marijuana industry to get to the level it deserves to be on. We got a lot of people in jail who are going to have to be released. We got a lot of people who are already out into society who have to have their records expunged. And we got, unfortunately, a criminal justice system that profits off the criminalization of marijuana. So you go to Washington and you're saying, hey, we're making all this money. These schools are able to provide their students with all kinds of new technology because of the taxes they're generating off this bud. And then the senator is looking at you and like, well, I don't know. I got a city, in my district that's got a couple private prisons loaded with a lot of guys who have marijuana convictions and all that stuff. And I'm getting money from that company, right? So there's a bigger wall there. There's a bigger wall there when we're talking about these MJ stocks. And a lot of these marijuana companies, they don't want to be honest about that. They don't want to be honest about that. And once they do and suck it up and join with the allies of criminal justice reform, then they'll be able to, get things done and start trading at the levels that they should be trading at. But you got people out here who don't want to speak on the truth. So they're just saying, oh, well, they're just not passing it. They're not passing the laws. They're outdated laws on MJ. No, it's bigger than that. And you know it. So be honest with the people. Yeah. Let's keep it going. ALK. Alaska Air Group. I don't know what happened to Alaska Air. I'm not a big, trader of the airlines. Never really been my thing. Just because it's such a, unstable business. And for many companies, particularly outside of America, it's unprofitable. That's why a lot of nation states own their own airlines. If you look at, for example, South Africa Airlines or some of these like Swiss Air, these are, owned by countries. Whereas in America, they are public entities, but they receive so much in regards of tax deductions and things like that allows them to compete. But for the most part, the airlines are really ugly businesses. Really, really ugly businesses. And Alaska Airline, interesting enough, they had a contract, if you guys remember, with a company called GEVO. Are they still? Oh, wow, yeah. A company called GEVO. And GEVO is a company that turns trash into fuel. They turned trash into fuel, and they had a big deal about that. In fact, if you probably look at that, was it this one? It could have been that day. Obviously, I do think it has reverse split a couple times. But they had a deal where they were going to sell that product to Alaska Airlines. But obviously, nothing has really been able to materialize for them. Absolutely. How do I search for stocks to buy? It depends, man. Invest SNPs is probably your best bet. You know, I look at sectors that are weak when everybody else is winning. You know, I'm looking for weakness in the market because it's easier to make money going down than it is to going up. In my opinion. My opinion only. All right, so look for the companies that are struggling when everybody else is doing well. And that particularly right now is retail, semiconductors, companies right now with retail with very, very low margin. Rates in terms of profit margin, what I meant. I remember Money Green, it never took off. It never took off because of that. Absolutely, Jason Epps. Many of those are state-owned. Many of those sustain. Outside of America, airlines are state-owned because they're not profitable businesses. They are not profitable businesses at all, whatsoever. Most airlines lose money. But again, when you look at the way our tax laws are structured for the airlines, we give them the ability to compete. But at the end of the day, if you pull up on Wikipedia, for example, what was that? Default Airlines, or what's the word? It's a D word. I forgot. But anyway, former airlines in America, basically. You'll see they've been dozens and dozens of airlines that have failed because the business is there. In fact, Donald Trump owned an airline, didn't he? And, that was a bust that he ended up having to file bankruptcy for. He lost a lot of money in that airline situation. A lot of money. He's failed out a lot of shit now that I think about it. CODA, Coda Octopus Group, don't know anything about it. Looks like it's an IT services and consulting group. You got quite a few IT companies, tech companies that are on a roll right now. I mean, these recent IPOs have gotten a lot of these smaller IT companies running as well, sharing a bit of the love, right? Sharing a little bit of the love with these other groups. This is a relatively small company, though, $153 million market cap. So I'm guessing the paper's pretty thin here. PE of 18. So this is obviously one that's got some catching up to do to some of the others. Learn a little bit more about the business and see what you can learn. Defunct. Thank you, Jason. Defunct. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, somebody said puts make money faster than calls. Absolutely. That's why I love it. That's why a good moving average strategy, I prefer the 25 moving average, will get you more than enough money to kind of keep your head over the water when it comes to this trading game. That's why right now I'm for the most part, when you talk about the indexes, SPY, IDM, I'm out because we're above the 25. I'm out now. But I'm going to still stick. I'm still in Macy's. I'm still in all this real shitty stuff. Wayfarer, I'm going to continue to hold that. Square, I got some squares for next year. SQ, I want to continue to hold that, even though that's just climbed. And I'm going to continue to hold that one, because that's a shitty company. All right, trading at multiple QE that can't find a way to be profitable. So there are a lot of crappy stocks out there that you could take advantage of. Yeah, let's talk about Nvidia though. Let's talk about Nvidia. This is all China. This is all China right now. This is all China. If you guys remember coming into the month, that was the big deal, right? And then the recently added tariffs to another, believe it was $300 billion. So it's all China when we talk about Nvidia and many of these, because they've got extremely large exposure to Asia, and they're hurting because of it. All right. So that's what's going on there right now. So interesting enough, this would probably be a great place to do a spread trade on something like that, where you're selling both sides of it, because you just can't see where this is going to go. Had a nice couple bounces here over here again with this all rate talk that's happened over the last 2 weeks. Come to find out, this rate increase might not happen. They were talking June. Now they're talking July, right? Talking July. Then things didn't really work out the way they wanted to because the job number came out last week and it was actually really good. You needed it to be bad, but it came out and it was actually pretty solid. So now July, technically, in my opinion, is at risk because now it's like, really? Rate cut in July? What's the justification for that? That's all I want to know is the justification for the move. That's all I want to know. Weyl, this is a stock that I saw in the 7s when, again, I call him the Iceman. I keep forgetting what his real name is. He was pushing Weyl, John Rambo. So I'm not sure what's going on with this company and where it's been, but I actively saw this stock being promoted at 6.5 7s when I first pulled off this ticker. So I'm probably not the man to ask for it, where it could be next. But at the same time, if you remember a company like Pred got to the 3s, came back down. We were at 88, 89, 90s for a couple weeks, couple months, and now look where Pred is or where it got to, and now headed lower. But look, something could be turning around. One thing you do know about OTC stocks is they fall out of favor, and then guys seem to kind of come back around again. All right, so this could be an opportunity for somebody to, take a position here for the future. Not next week, not next month, but a couple months down the road, we could very well see the stock back at some recent highs. Barry, there you go. Barry, thank you, John. Barry. Yeah. That's his name. Yeah, and Invest Snipes. Invest Snipes is really good. Another good one is ETFscreen.com. ETF Screen. They've got a screener, built-in screener where they can screen certain ETFs. So you can see, over the last 25 days, what's been the best performing ETF, what's been the lowest. And then what I do is I look into some of the poorest performing ETFs and look into the individual components using bar chart or just going straight to the ETF's website and finding those individual tickers that are pulling them down. And sometimes it's a liquid stock, but sometimes it's a really crap. Like you'll find a lot of oil-based ETFs that have CRC in it, and CRC is just a shitty little oil company called California Resources that low PE, low stock, had a really awesome 2018. This is an opportunity I've really missed that and I do regret, but this is a stock that does run hot though when CRUDE's doing its thing. I'll give it to him that. The market loves this when CRUDE is hot. It really knows how to bounce. What do I think about Will Karaman? He's a paper trader. He's been exposed as a paper trader for years, man. Will's been a paper trader for years. Will's got a mental illness, bro. He's got a mental illness. The guy used to work at as a bagger at a supermarket, and then all of a sudden he's like, he started this penny stock thing, and he has basically fake followers. He pays companies to like his tweets. He's got a mental illness. Have you talked to that guy? Talk to him. Like, get on the phone. Be like, hey man, I just want to speak with you for a little bit, and listen to him and talk. He's scattered. His mind is everywhere. Don't just read his tweets. Like, go talk to the guy. What else? AFL. Somebody said UAVS. I don't know what to say about this, Sally Davis. I mean, I'm looking at it here. This is a New York Stock Exchange company. Obviously, something is just fundamentally broken here when it comes to this company, right? This is not. I'm not a believer in kind of going to FinViz and just buying the cheapest thing available here. This is a company that looks to be getting delisted very, very soon. As you can see here, it's been below $1 since, what was that, October? All right, been below $1 since October. So I would probably be on the lookout for this to be delisted at any time, unless a reverse split is imminent. This could be delisting at any time. Yeah. This kind of reminds me of those companies like PTON. You know, kind of these companies that have these dreams of being like, yeah, we're going to put this shit out in space and, you know, it's going to be a flying bot and we're going to get a government grant that's going to give us like $3 billion. It's going to inject it to our company and we're going to be just selling you a lot of crap. A lot of crap. So I'd leave that alone. I'd leave that ticker alone. Aflac, you know, give it to Aflac, man, because Aflac is probably, you know, when you talk about value companies, you know, Aflac definitely is it, man. Trading at 13 times earnings. It's a company that insurance, like typically, you know, any insurance company sitting on billions of dollars, cash, just straight cash, very little debt. I mean, you know, these are the companies you want to be in during recessions, but at the same time, we've got to understand that our next recession will be a massive devaluation of the dollar. So how does the insurance space be affected by that? That's going to be very interesting to see. All right. Our next recession will cause massive devaluation of the dollar. So that's why we're seeing people running to, you know, things like Bitcoin. They're running into gold to hedge their bets because they understand what we're doing in terms of, again, cutting interest rates, generating a bigger pile of debt on top of already massive piles of debt. And again, our deficits aren't getting any smaller. So there's a massive devaluation of the dollar headed our way. And companies like Aflac that are, you know, again, financially structured to be where you'd want to be at that time will lose because most of their money, from what I know, is just blatantly cash. You know, unless they hedge with some gold, you're going to have to check their financials to see if whether or not they invest in that. But for the most part, they're going to be huge losers as well. But for the time being, yeah, man, get yourself a call option and ride the wave. You know what I mean? Get yourself a call option and ride the wave. Just make sure you got your stop in. Make sure you got your stop in. Because like I said, this is going to be an event where you're going to wake up and we're going to be, you know, 2,500 points in the red. That's the kind of event we're going to have. And if you're under the age of 75, it's going to be in your lifetime. You know, they're on the page of 75. It'll be in your lifetime. AZUL, let's take a look at it. AZUL. Azul. Don't know anything about this company, man. Industrial Airlines, okay. Yeah, don't know anything about it. Again, I'm not the guy to ask for when it comes to the airlines, but again, here's another one that's been doing really well. But again, if you believe in the idea or the theory that's being pushed that we are entering a global slowdown, then unless this is a very small airline that's just kind of like, you know, benefiting from the fact that people are using their business and cash is coming to the bottom line, then you should see this start to slow down, start to go down here. All right. But obviously they've had a fantastic May. So figure out what's going on here. Okay, I'm seeing an article here talking about high domestic demand. All right. So that's just what I was just talking about. All right. Let's keep it going. Oil man trying to push oil higher. I mean, it's not Trump trying to do it. You got to understand that there are more powerful people behind the scenes than Trump, man. Way more powerful people than him. He wasn't even expected to be in the position he's in. They would have been just as happy with Clinton or anybody in the Republic, any one of them. They would have been just as happy. AMPE at 70%, 70 cents right now. Not an OTC stock. Nice little pop a couple days ago. Left a lot of people up there though. Look at that, boy. Woo! And I know if we pull up the time in sales, we're gonna see a guy who had 15K, right here. He bought right here. Or hell, he probably bought right here. Oh, you'll find it looking at the time in sales. That's what's scary about trading these cheapies. Because obviously something came out there and had that explode higher. Nice play. BYE, look, I think you got to be cautious of Tyson. If we talked BYND a little bit earlier, but Tyson coming into the space, you can't, it's not something to be aware of, in the short term, but in the long term, right? If you're looking at Beyond Meat as something where it's like it's going to be around for a while, Tyson, a company with that size, with the kind of financial leverage they carry, you've got to be aware of the fact that now they've created this brand to go after that market. Because I don't believe that the fake meat market is as big as people trying to sell it to be. I think people really enjoy real meat. I think people like beef. I think people like chicken. I don't believe that people want to eat, cantaloupe as fried chicken. I don't believe that. And I don't believe that fake beef is as nutritious as, real beef. Maybe healthier for you, but I'm talking about some of the, when we're talking about proteins and things like that. And yeah. And I think the competition there can put them out of business, in an aspect. But at the end of the day, you got to understand that's a more intelligent customer, right? It's a more intelligent customer. And again, I'm talking long term. Right? I'm talking long term. That's a more intelligent customer. And obviously Tyson doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to vegans. So a vegan would come into a restaurant and be like, yeah, I don't want that Tyson made product. Right? So we got to keep that in mind as well. But there's, in my opinion, an adjustment to this valuation here coming as well. There's an adjustment to this valuation coming. I mean, look how quickly it rejected the 190 like that, though. You saw how quickly it rejected 190. Everybody and their mama wanted to put at the 190. Now, sure enough, we're at 150s, and we're going to continue to bounce there. And I don't see us getting to the 190s again anytime soon, but who knows? I can't predict the future. We could very well continue to hide. We're holding this 60 RSI very well. All right, it's a new issue, so we're still getting in data as it comes in. But if I'm someone who's got a couple grand that's laying around, why not look at a leap at 100, for next year, and say why not? Those leap for 100s have got to be basically trading for pennies on the dollar, right? Let me pull that up. They've got to be trading for literally pennies on the dollar when you're talking about those leap options under 100. That's what the smart money goes out and buys now. And in fact, you'll see that for those guys who had signed up today with BlackBox for that free trial. Look up some of those tickers you're interested in. And, there's a historical button where you can look at trades that were made going as far back as last year. And for Beyond Meat, from the day that they were able to trade options to some tickers like a Wayfarer or a Square or some of those other, Grub, those kind of like type of companies, you'll see institutional investors, banks, private wealth money going out there, and they're buying the 50, 60, 70 puts for like next year. So they go out of their way to take those kind of, maybe woulda, coulda, shoulda type positions where if it comes through, they are making, 40, 50, 60x on their money. But, again, you got to buy a lot of time. Yeah, somebody said they're expensive. You got to buy a lot of time with that because, again, going that far out there. All right. Yeah, let me take a look here just real quick. Yeah, I mean, they get expensive when you're talking about the reasonable amounts, though. I'm looking at, I'm looking at some of these trades, and they're actually really not that bad. Beyond Meat for January 15th, 2021. When you're looking at some of these hundreds, and again, put them in a vertical. If you can't afford it straight out, put it in a vertical where you sell expensive one against the other. Make it cheaper for yourself. You can do it that way too. Get a nice discount that way. It'll take a long time for it to actually burn off, and if it may not actually run good, but you can put it in a vertical as well. Somebody says that demon meat. God wants you to eat his meat, not fake meat. Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm not putting necessarily a religious aspect about it. I'm just saying, why can't we just make our meat healthier? For example, when you go to some of these Asian countries, these South America, right? You go to South America, their meat tastes so pure. I mean, if you get a chance to go to a place like the Dominican Republic, like Colombia, Brazil, you go to some of these countries that have a farming system that's natural, where they literally just have cows and all kind of farm, animals just out in the pasture. Their meat tastes so much different. Their meat tastes so much different than our meat. Now, you will notice that their chicken pieces are smaller, right? Their chicken pieces, they don't have these retarded looking chicken breasts like you have here in America. You're in America, you get these retarded looking chicken breasts that are like half the size of your face. It's ridiculous. Absolutely. Well, I mean, and again, we've talked about that on the show, and it's the kind of why, you're going to these schools today and you're seeing kids, 14, 15 years old, double D tits, bro. Double D tits. I'm at the summer camps during the summer, picking up my girl. She runs track. So we're running track, and you got some other ages. And, dude, these girls can't even run track, dude. Their tits are just like you shouldn't have tits that big at your age. There is no way you should have tits that big. And, of course, all the parents, the guy parents, they don't say anything. And, of course, it's the setting. You can't really say anything, right? So you're just sitting there. It's like, what the fuck is going on with this country? Like, what the hell is that kid eating? Farm-raised catfish tastes like grease. Wild caught fish tastes like fish. Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Have you ever eaten at Homesteaders? Their meat is so pure. Oh, man, and don't even get us started on the grain-fed and the other. I mean, they don't taste any different in my opinion. Well, the grain-fed a little bit, but it's just not the same as when you're talking about going to somebody's farm, who's raised the animal and they've killed it in a humane way, and then you eat the meat. Tastes so different. So different. They got quite a few spots like that here in North Carolina, all throughout the South. Also, you go out in the Midwest, there are places like that too, where you can actually go, to those people and they, feed their own beef and kill and sell their own meat. There are tons of places like that in America. You're just going to have to pay a bit of a premium for their food just because, they're doing everything in-house. It gets a little costly. They're not receiving, these huge, massive discounts from Uncle Sam, like many of these large scale farmers do. Yeah, grass fed. All right, let's keep it going. Beyond Meat. So tell me, I mean, because I don't want to get off this without really trying to figure out where you guys see Beyond Meat going. Are we talking? Press 1 if you see Beyond Meat at 165 by the end of the month. If you see us going into July with Beyond Meat above 165, press 1 right now. I just want to get an idea of where you guys see. The company's got now $9 billion market cap. This guy's saying 200 by Friday. Look, man, it's the number one. It is. I think it is number one right now on Robinhood. And you know what they did for Tesla for so long. So, when Tesla was number one at Robinhood, you couldn't short that shit down. All right. So we got some guys who agree that Beyond Meat could be over 165 by the end of the month going into July. Hey, look, we got 2 weeks to get there. Why not? We got 2 weeks to get there. I don't think we have any holidays, right? Yeah, no holidays stopping us from what I know. So we could be going into Independence Day with good old fake meat above 200. Who knows? Rel, you said you give it a -1. Christelle 1. Okay. All right. Let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going. All right. Let me pull out a list of stocks that I have to watch. Okay, I talked about Chewie. Some of you guys in here might know about Fiverr. Boy, Fiverr really shitted on people that second day. I didn't see anybody bring it up in the chat room. Was anybody looking at Fiverr at all? Anybody looking at Fiverr? This is a really interesting company because as someone who who does social media, Fiverr is a company that I have used. They basically are a marketplace that connects people who need these kind of short-term graphics and graphic services, short-term services, right? Basically, it's a gig aggregator. Let me just say that. It's a gig aggregator for creatives. That right there just sums it up. Unfortunately, there were no options available on Fiverr during its first two trading days. Hopefully, I don't know when options will be available for this, but Fiverr is one of those companies I can easily see sub $10 a share. Easily see above $10 a share. I mean, for a second there, they had a market cap in the 3-4 billion range. But Fiverr, you didn't even know they were public? Yeah, Fiverr went public last Thursday. And again, exciting first day, like so many IPOs. Exciting first day, but then the second day, people start asking questions. People start looking at the financials. The smart money knows they're not worth the way, they're not worth their weight in gold. And sure enough, boy, those shorts just came, man. They just came and didn't let go on Friday on this stock and just destroyed this thing all morning. It was a disaster on level 2. What about Chewie? I can't answer that, man. Big KH, I can't answer. I can't answer that, man. I really, again, when we talk about people's pets and we talk about these kind of, stocks where people just have these like love affairs, you just don't know anymore. After hours, they were pretty low. What not? Just about 0.5% lower. But again, you just look at the fact that this is a company that started, and when we talk about Chewie, that started in 2011, bro. This company started in 2011 and has a $14 billion valuation. I'm in the wrong business. I need to start up a dog, sales company. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something with some damn animals and then go public. You know, this guy's been 8 years in this business, and now it's valued at $14 billion. All right, now valued at $14 billion. You know, and then you're looking at the financials; they're all over the place. You know, let me see. I can't even find any decent financial statements. A bunch of articles for the most part. Yeah. Just investor demand, bro. At the end of the day, investor demand. You know, and that's just one of the stories that led us last week. Another one was another IT crash. I saw that earlier here. CrowdStrike. It was an IT services company. CrowdStrike. You know, look at what they did here. Is that the? Let me see here. Oh, why did that chart just freaking disappear here? Hold on. Yeah, I don't know why I can't get the 5 minutes of that. But CrowdStrike. Can I get the 5 minute? God damn, what happened? I don't know why. Yeah, for whatever reason, they're not letting me see the 5 minute or the hourly. But CrowdStrike is another one of those companies that didn't shit it on people a little bit. Is that my watch? God damn. Sorry, guys. My watch is somewhere in here. It'll go off in a second. It's right near me. I don't want to fuck up my stream right now. But, yeah. But CRWD is another one. For a second, I thought it was that CLWD I used to promote years ago. It was like, you motherfuckers went public. On the NASDAQ, CrowdStrike, or IT services company. That's another one that kind of took a bite out of Long's. You used to buy high quality cat food from Chewie years ago. Now, Larry, is it expensive? Are we talking like a premium? Are they basically a premium pet outlet? Well, not outlet, but premium pet supply retailer? Everybody keeps comparing them to pets.com. Yeah, I compared them to pets.com earlier in the show. All right. Because I just don't believe pet businesses are that valuable. Particularly when a lot of the products they sell you can get at Walmart. Now, granted, Walmart doesn't have a big pet section, right? When you go to the pet area, you know, I don't spend too long there because the smell is just like atrocious. You know, it just smells like shit over there. But for the most part, you know, a lot of products you can get at Chewy, you can get at Walmart. You know, so I'm thinking like, hey, you know, with Walmart and Costco's of the world, you know, do we need a retailer that specializes? Is the market that big? And maybe because I'm not a pet owner, I can't see it. You know, I can't see it. Okay, they carry a variety of different brands, and it makes sense. I could see why, you know, you're in the mood to do that kind of shopping. You want to go somewhere where that's all we do, right? Is pet foods. So you kind of know the brands you're looking for, you're going to find there, unlike a retailer for everything where the things you're looking for may not be available. So it makes sense. DJ Khaled said Beyond Meat is the best. I want to try the product. I really do. I want to try the product to see what it is. You know, somebody said it's demon meat. Yeah. The truth is penny stock where I make most of my money. No, now it's options. Now it's options. Always been made my first 50,000 promoting. And you know, you can look through my videos. There are a ton of my promotion videos. that I used to do. And then people, unfortunately, a movie came out called Wolf of Wall Street. And basically the gig was up and I had to do something else. Shouldn't China tariffs be helping companies like AKS? Let me see here. AKS. Well, you would think so. But again, when demand stateside is low, then no. When demand stateside is low, then no. At the end of the day, if you're a steel producing organization here in America, China's not trying to buy U.S. steel. They're not trying to. They got their own steel manufacturers, right? So you need internal demand to be strong, and we're not investing in infrastructure. We're not investing in the things that really provide that strength to the manufacturing sector like that. We're really not. We've made it very clear in this country that the future is just these tech jobs that are very kind of ambiguous and really, guys like virtualization engineers and things like that are like, they don't really produce a physical good like that. Communications will always have, you'll still have guys being able to climb towers and things like that. But for the most part, we're not producing, in this country, the way maybe we should. And I'm not saying that, cutting tariffs is the way to do that. Maybe we are such an advanced economy that we shouldn't be in those businesses anymore, right? We shouldn't be manufacturing steel. We shouldn't be manufacturing these kind of things. In a real free market economy, that unfortunately would be, what we'd be doing. We probably wouldn't be producing anything at all if we had a real free market economy. Everyone in the world would be basically creating products for us. Pets.com was just before its time. They charged you so much to ship. But that doesn't explain eBay, though. Well, yeah, I guess eBay is. But what about Amazon? Amazon was doing the same thing at the beginning, right? Or I may be too young for that. Was Amazon giving you very low cost shipping as well? Impossible tastes way better and is in a lot more restaurants. Yeah, Impossible Burger, I believe that's what they're called. Don't know if they'll ever go public, but that might be an exciting thing. Tarantulas are in high demand. Pet stores will go out of business. Yeah, I mean, and that's sad because tarantulas, snakes, all those things, every 10 years there's a favorite pet, and then they just end up in the wild, like destroying the ecosystem. Those of you guys who live in Florida, they're all kind of just, weird ass animals out there that people just end up throwing out. And that's why, at night, if you live on the outskirts of the city, of any large city in Florida, you don't really spend a lot of time walking through the grass because you don't know what the hell is out there. Nobody keeps their little kids out at night in that state. How do you invest at the IPO price, for example? Was 24 and opened the next day. Well, that's you couldn't get it for 24 unless, again, you're a big fish in the pond, man. I mean, you got connections with an institutional sell side provider or buy side provider. Like, for example, whoever took them public, whether it be JP Morgan or something like that, you have an account there. You got 50 million liquid. Yeah, I'm sure there's somebody you can call and you're like, hey, I want a piece of that. And they can be able to get some for you. But if you're a pajama trader, which, we practically all are, all of us who have either, I would say maybe less than 10 million liquid, they would probably consider you a pajama trader. Yeah, you're not getting the $24 price. You're not getting the $24 price. Oh, yeah, man. Florida's got all kind of weird-ass animals out there. Go out at night. visit somebody who lives in Florida, particularly who lives in one of those, I call them sub-cities like Pensacola or, just one of those kind of cities of a city, just real, like, outskirts of suburbs of like Jacksonville or something like that. Or I don't know, 30 miles outside of Orlando. Just one of those places. They're just all kind of weird ass animals at night you'll hear out there and see. All right, so let's keep it going here. So overall for the market, man, look, at the end of the day, if you're long some of these great companies that are enjoying this boost, stay long, man. Stay long. We'll show you what the major ETFs are doing here in just a second. Here's ZM, Zoom Video. This is another company that IPO'd recently, doing very, very well since its IPO debut. 61 to now 100. All right, 61 to 100. It's quite a bit of money to be made here on Zoom. You can go to websites like Unicorn Market Cap where you can see, hey, if I had put $10,000 in this stock, where would it be now since its IPO? And it's all the unicorn tickers like ZM, the Ubers, the Lyfts of the world, because they were all, unicorn type stocks. Companies that haven't been around for too long and now have massive market caps. Yeah, get those likes up, man. Get those likes up. Yes, indeed. Shout out to everybody who's pressing like and who can right now. I appreciate that. He said those pythons are taking over in Florida now. Whew. Well, they just need to do what Michigan does. And I think you guys used to do that, where you would pay guys to go out and kill them. For example, in northern Michigan, we got an issue with deer, and they were paying guys per head, to go out there and take care of it, right? And they come back with bodies on bodies. I mean, when you put some money on something's head, guys, particularly guys with guns, who love to shoot, who love to kill, they're going to go out there and just go crazy. And, I just remember being traumatized as a kid, and there was a truck passing by and it was just literally just bodies. I'm just like, God damn, like blood was like literally dripping by the tailgate. But anyway, yeah, you got to pay guys to go out there and go do that shit. And that'll take care of it. You put some money on those heads, that'll take care of it. What else? Let's take a look at what else is exciting out there right now. Roku. I have Roku right now on my list. Very interesting. This is a stock that's going up really high. We're seeing some kind of, I don't want to call it bearish divergence yet, because it's very much still holding these high RSI levels and doing it very, very well. But when I put up these Keltner channels, we're getting there. It's using it as support. So this is obviously not a time to sell yet anywhere near my preferred area of selling. But I mean, Roku has just been a monster over the last couple of days. We're starting to see, some of these interesting candles up there as guys start to question the 108, 110 area. But this might not be done just yet. This is going to be a company that's going to benefit from some of the new streamers that are going to come out there. Disney and some of these other ones, I think there no doubt will be available to be used on some of this application like Roku, or this software, that product, whatever you want to call them. But you got a lot of people out there who got old TVs, right? They got old televisions and they're looking to upgrade, update, and Roku is there for those people. We still got a lot of TVs out there that are not smart, but do have that USB capability or HDMI capability as well. They have a show on Discovery Channel about hunting pythons. Yeah. MAGA, have I changed my mind on reparation? Well, look, it's not something that's going to happen anytime soon. I would just like to see it. It'd be interesting to see, but it's not something that will come to fruition anytime. Not this political cycle anyway. It's not there yet. It needs to be a lot more pressure, and that movement needs to be like 10 times bigger than it is right now for anything like that to even occur. Avon products, no. This it's funny you say that because I've shitted on Avon for a long time, and it's been a sale for a long time. But man, at this price, Avon, still a money losing operation. But you'd be surprised how many women still like love Avon products. And Avon, for the most part, was a tale of valuation. When you started getting to some of these higher levels, remember going into 2010, 2011, you had that kind of rise of that kind of Kardashian type of thing. Now, Avon products aren't geared to young women. They're just not. They're not for a young women crowd. But we have a thing where now the generation of older women, they're not your mom's older women. They very much are women who are looking to stay young by buying products that are deemed youthful, right? And I think that's why Avon is struggling the way they are. But at the same time, at this level, they may have some fans out there. You got to understand how stock's down, 90%. From a couple years ago. You gotta wonder, hey, is it oversold, right? Oversold. Is it oversold? But it's gonna be an interesting take here. So it's had a pretty good 2019. Pretty good 2019 so far. In fact, let's go to the monthly, and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Here it goes. I mean, again, just a horrible situation, right? Just a horrible situation. And look at that. I mean, this is a monthly chart. Not too bad. We're looking at one. I won't even call that a losing month because you got guys who stepped up and bought the low there. So Avon looking really interesting here, at least on these longer term charts. Now, we're only, 17 days in? Well, yeah, 17 days into the month. That's a very interesting candlestick for us to be generating there because you're seeing some hesitation at these high levels. And 60 RSI would probably be where you'd have a great potential shorting opportunity because we know that 60 RSI tends to be where a stock that is bearish has an inability to be able to stay above, which is the 60 RSI. Again, we get that into that book by John Hayden, RSI the Guide. All right, so you'll be able to probably identify that at some of these other levels. You see, broken it through the weekly. Here's the weekly, busting right above that. Again, here at this 60 RSI level, let's see if it can hold that, right? It's got to be able to hold that. And if you can see through the chart, it hasn't done a good job of that. It hasn't done a good job of that. All right. It's only, doesn't do a good job of holding above that level. So you're looking at this and you're saying this is a high probability short here. But at the same time, we've done some tap dancing there. So you got people who like this. And then notice that it stayed up here longer than it has recently. So something could be changing here. But if you want to take the risk for the short, this is where you would do that. Yes, I'm still short Macy's. I'm not letting go of Macy's for a long time. There's nobody who's going to come and save Macy's. Macy's has got an ugly balance sheet. They're still loaded with a ton of real estate. They're closing a ton of stores, but they still got a whole lot of real estate, still got a lot of legacy debt in terms of pensions. And, Macy's is unfortunately one of those companies that's, was built for a different time in our economy. And they've got a lot of people who are holding that company down. And Macy's is a company that we're going to see very shortly at single digits. Because it's just destined to go in there. So we're going to be testing this. And it's fighting. And it's forced, look, other guys get the opportunity to pull these charts up just like us. And they're seeing the same things. And sure enough, they're seeing the lows here. And they're like, oh, wow, this might be an opportunity for us to get in on a bounce. But Could it happen? Maybe. Who knows? But I'm positioning myself for the gap down, the break lower. All right. This is a company that's just not structured for the future. They haven't been able to implement an online plan like Target has. Target, a much newer company, a company that's seen as a much more fresher kind of upscale brand than Macy's was. Macy's was always kind of that company for young people that just really couldn't figure it out. And it's because a lot of times their brands were just out of the reach of most young people, and they could never get it right. All right. So my opinion is that Macy's continues to go lower. All right. Yeah. So look for the little sick bounce here. Again, this is another one that won't survive. Again, the 60 RSI has always been a great opportunity to short this company. All right. Particularly after that downfall back in July of 2018. You can see here 60 RSI, 60 RSI. Great opportunity to come in there as a short, and it's paid off handsomely for people who've taken it. Hey, what about Elizabeth Warren paying off all college debt? Don't you want the government to pay off your debt? Hey, look, why not? I mean, the new theory is MMT, right? Modern money theory or modern market theory. Anyway, you can do your research on MMT, but basically the theory goes like this. America is such a powerful nation. Third world countries love the US dollar so much that it doesn't matter how big our deficits get. We can continue to print and print and print as much money as we want, and there will always be a market for the US dollar. That's the new idea. So if Elizabeth Warren, who in my opinion I believe subscribes to this MMT theory, then yeah, she's going to pay off all the college debts of everyone in America. We're going to print, right? We're going to print that money, give it to these banks to get even more wealthier. And then it's a wrap. It is what it is. Let's be honest. Let's keep it going. BKS, Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles this is a really interesting company because I didn't think Barnes and Nobles would be able to survive. Definitely not till 2019. If you had told me in 2012 that Barnes and Nobles would still be a thing, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised because this is a company that just by the early 2010s, late 2000s, you were kind of questioning the value there, right? I mean, they had their Nook product that didn't do so hot, right? By 2010, nobody was fucking with the Nook. They just couldn't figure it out. Amazon had killed them. The local stores do have a presence within people's communities. I noticed they do appreciate having a Barnes & Nobles, particularly when you're talking about your higher net worth neighborhoods. The Barnes & Nobles does tend to be a gathering place for those people in those kind of communities. All right, you'll find a Starbucks in those stores, and that's kind of helped that as well. Very comfortable seating areas and books that people in that community like to buy. So they've been able to find, a niche for them. As you can see clearly, though, it's nowhere near the size that they used to be. I mean, right now, Barnes & Nobles has a $500 million market cap. I mean, many people would say that's a penny stock at this point. They're nowhere near as big as what they used to be. For those of you guys who are my age, in your early 30s, mid 30s, you remember Barnes & Nobles was everywhere. I mean, they were growing up. They were everywhere. And you just don't see them as much anymore. And again, you can just look at the chart and tell. Here's the 12-month chart. Spread that out a little bit. As you can see here, again, the big hooray was early 2000s, right? We just talked about that. The peak was about 2006. All right, and they've been basically fighting to survive ever since then. Here's 2010. Here's 2010. $10, $8, $9 a share, and they've been able to hang on for dear life since then. But trading it. Look at that. Look at that PE ratio. Have you guys seen that PE ratio? Trading at 2,600 times earnings. Trading at 2,600 times earnings. I'm gonna have to check if that's right. But if that's the case, this is a company that should be, in all intents and purposes, bankrupt and out of business. They shouldn't even be trading if they're trading at 2,000 times earnings. If that's right, let me know. If that's right, let me know. Yeah, you should go into politics. I think it would be great. What's your opinion of July being why Jesse Lee Peters continues to promote? Oh no, every month is that, MAGA. Every month is that. Every month is that. Come on now. Amazon leg sweep the hell out of them. Oh, hilarious. He said Amazon leg sweep them. CHK. Well, CHK's been a dead horse, man. CHK is dead. CHK is dead. Have you seen the articles on CHK? They're looking for a buyer, bro. CHK is dead, man. I haven't brought up CHK in a minute. CHK is looking for a buyer, bro. They're done. It's toast. Let me get the Arnold Schwarzenegger for them. Where are they at here? This is all the executives at CHK. This is what they're doing right now every day.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Yeah, that's what they're doing every day. They're looking for ways to cash out, get that big old parachute. Big old executive parachute when that buyout drops. Oh, yeah, they're going to be celebrating big time. They're going to be celebrating big time when they get that parachute, man. Yeah, this is a nice time for somebody to step up and buy CHK here. You know, it's trading at $1.77. You can give them a little premium. They're trading at just 3 times earnings. It's a big fucking company. A lot of, valuable assets. In fact, book value is higher than market cap right now. So this is a great opportunity for somebody to step in here and be a part of this. Now, again, this is another company that's got, massive legacy debt. So they're going to have to take care of that. But this is a great time for them to step up and being bought here. BKS vinyl record selection has also been a huge part. Okay. They took a big bet on the resurgence of vinyl and it benefited. Yeah. All those things are going to be coming back, man. Vinyl. Look out for trading cards to pop up back again. I had to go back home recently and pull out, my trading card collection because I was on that trading card shit, man. Fleer, Upper Deck, you name it. Football. I think I have every player who played in the NFL between 2002. No, I would say no, between 2000 and 2006. If you played in the NFL between 2000 and 2006, I probably have one of your football cards. I got everybody, man. I got Ricky Williams rookie. I got all the rookie cards, man. All the rookie cards. Who else I got rookie cards, man? Guys who I thought would turn out to be a lot better than they ended up being. A whole bunch of Cleveland Brown quarterbacks. Damn near every year they had the first pick. I had that guy's rookie card. Tim Couch, I had his rookie card. I had a ton of guys, man. Ton of guys. But yeah, all that's going to be coming back. Let's take a look at what else is hot before I let you guys go here in a bit. Cigna. Let's go back to the daily chart. Cigna, this is a healthcare company. This was really interesting because the Trump administration gives a lot of, mixed signals when it comes to healthcare because he's got very populist ideals, but at the same time, the policy implementation or policy development hasn't hasn't came around yet to meet what I think is his point of view. And companies like Sigma could very well struggle if what I think Trump sees healthcare could be implemented, because I think he sees very much an open free market system of healthcare that the Democrats just don't understand, because they just love public everything. But they don't understand how that could actually help people when you tear down these walls that many states, because these healthcare companies and insurance companies have lobbied to create these walls where you can go to New York and there's like, yeah, this is Blue Cross Blue Shield New York, and this is Blue Cross Blue Shield Ohio. This is Blue Cross Blue Shield Louisiana. I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't we just have an open market where I can go to different states and everybody can get coverage wherever they want to go, and that would work. And I think that's the way Trump sees healthcare in America. But again, he's surrounded by people who just are, who have his mind in a million different places at the same time. And I wish he could see that. And I have a feeling he's just not able to see that he's got people on the inside that are really distracting him from being able to implement that populist message that got him elected. Because right now it's very much a what have you done for me, 6 months when I look at the Trump administration. When you look at from January to where we are, I mean, where's the beef? I mean, let's be honest. What's happened? Thank you, Stockboy. I did. Yes, I did. I appreciate that. In New York, illegal immigrants get free health care. American citizens have to pay for it. Salesforce CRM. Let's take a look at that. But yeah, these companies like CI struggling right now. Actually, I don't know what's going on here because they've definitely been getting their way. So this has definitely got to be an issue. Looks, oh yeah, definitely clearly been missing earnings here. So this might be a situation where they got too big for their own britches. But overall, they've been doing very well. They've been doing very well. So it looks just like some cooling here when it comes to CI. Let's take a look at CRM Salesforce. I used to hate Salesforce, using that software. I know many of you guys probably use Salesforce at work. When I sold cars for a couple months, and you had to put people in the software and call them a million fucking times a day. Hi, Mr. So-so, are you interested in coming in and test driving the vehicle today? Oh, you're too busy? Oh, okay. All right. Well, when can you see you when you're in there? Oh. All right, sir. I'll take you off our list. Thank you. That's basically how the conversation went most of the time. CRM, interesting developments here in Salesforce.com. All right. I don't know about going back to all-time lows here, but this is a very valuable software. A lot of companies use Salesforce. A lot of big Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies use Salesforce. And yeah. I mean, that PE ratio is pretty high though. But I don't know. I don't have anything to say about them. But that's definitely some interesting, chart patterns developing here in the stock. All right. This is really interesting here, showing up here as it's very much holding some of these, that sub 50 RSI and doing it very, very well. You've had some spikes here that's kind of scared you here. So if you're going to buy a put on this thing, then you definitely better put some time on it, because as you can see here, it clearly has a habit of popping back up and then coming back down. So if this is the case, wait for the next pop. But then again, it's definitely set up like it's about to just drop and continue to do so for some time, as we can see a very similar pattern that's already been entered in here before. Had a really tough November, and many stocks did. November 2018 was a very tough month for a lot of stocks, but now we're very much into the mid-year, and I could very well say that, maybe the smart money knows something we don't. Maybe they're seeing, again, small companies and medium-sized business, large businesses as well, slowing down, their usage of their product. Because Salesforce is a product that your company has to buy, kind of like Microsoft Office, where they're going to buy it every year, or the rights to continue to use the software. So do your research on what's going on here at CRM. But many of these businesses, again, in a strong economic downturn, will suffer. CRM of the world, the Red Hats of the world, Cisco's, all of them are going to suffer. They're all going to suffer, man. You're all going to suffer. And everything that we're saying here today, it's going to be proven right sooner or later. We can't keep it going. But again, this MMT theory is pretty scary. And I want you to take some time to look into MMT theory when you get a moment. Because these people, you got a lot of people who are starting to believe in that idea that we can just continue to print money. And the only people that get hurt by that are people like me and you. As the value of our dollars continue to decrease in value and lower and lower and lower, I was reading, sometimes I like to go on Google, and Google has this website, part of the search feature, where you can read old newspapers. And back in the day, in the early 1960s, 50s, and stuff like that, you can, just like everyone else, or just like today still, they sold real estate in the paper, right? They sold real estate in the paper. So you can Google some of those addresses today, particularly in some of those cities like Pittsburgh and, your more established cities where you had a lot of veterans and stuff like that come back home to. So you can look at some of those homes that were selling for like 10 grand, $15,000, $7,000 homes. And you're looking and you pull them up today and they're going for, $685, $700, $750. Granted, some of these people, and that's why, we're talking about some of the richest generation that ever existed when you're talking about some of these seniors who bought their homes then and been still living in them today. But when you're a young person and you're looking to purchase a home today, you're priced out. You're priced out. Why? Because the dollar has lost so much value. You really don't, unless you have someone who can offer you, that generational wealth, that ability to kind of tap into that benefit of being a veteran way back when, or being, having that access to capital from that boomer, right? From that baby boomer, you're fucked if you don't have that. You're fucked if you don't have that. And I believe the majority of Americans don't have that. Now, let me rephrase that. The majority of the the fastest growing demographic population in America don't have that. So that's why I'm bearish on the United States economy, because I don't believe that the people who are going to make up the America of the future have the ability, have the skill set to continue to make this the greatest economy in the world. And that's why I think you can get rich by betting on the fact that this country has not positioned them to succeed. And we're going to see it very, very shortly in our markets. We're going to see it very, very shortly in our lifetime. He says, shout out to all the telemarketers. Yeah, telemarketing is hard, bro. All that telemarketing, calling on the phone, doing all that shit. I just couldn't stand it, dude. Calling people on the phone, doing any kind of sales on the phone, it just drains you mentally. Tough job to do. Could you tell me how I use BlackBox website? Do you trades off the option alert or their alert log to scalp? Yes, I got a video coming out. I talked about that earlier in the show. I got a video on that this week. I use the alert log, and I only buy stocks that are above, that cross 50%. Because the alert is going to generate tons of alerts. You might get 15 to 20 alerts in a day. So I'm only going to look at the alert that crosses 50%. That's up 50%. Because the probability of a stock or an option that crosses 50% on the day to getting to 100 or just getting more than 25% on the day is extremely high. Extremely high. Right? Because the system is going to generate an alert. You don't want to just jump in there because that alert might not work out. So let it get to 50, and then I'll touch the 50, and I'll give myself a 25% stop loss. Jason Epps, he said, that's me. Take me off the list. Yeah, that's because a lot of guys, they would go on, what's that website? Cars for Sale, or what another one I used to use? Gosh, I forgot. All those little car sale websites. And they'd be like, yeah, I like this car. Contact me. And then you would contact them like a day later. And they're like, why are you calling me? Please don't call me again. Please take me off your list right now. No, if you don't take me off your list right now, I will contact the government and I will sue you. Take me off your list right now. I'm like, fuck. I'm trying to make a sale. I get paid by commission. You the one who wrote to my dealership that you were interested in the fucking vehicle. Oh, man. Let me not get back into that mood, bro, because, selling cars, man. I did that for 2 months. I just like, man, look, I'm going to need a check, so I can't do this shit no more. Okay? Oh, yeah, and they get you all excited, like, you could make $100,000 a year. But you start making those phone calls, shit, man. Hey, and you have this clown come into the dealership. You'd be like, all right, guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a list of all your friends and family, right? Make a list of all your friends and family. You're gonna contact them and ask them about where they are with their vehicles, if they're interested in a purchase. And, you're not going to do that shit. You know what I mean? Like, you got friends, you got family, but you're not going to bother them because they're just not interested at this point in time. But you're in this training. They're like, well, sir, you got to come up with 25 people on your list. I know you got 25 people, okay? And you're like, fuck. So sometimes I would just like make up, some numbers. And then they'd be like, okay, guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to call everybody on our list. And I'm just like, fuck. So, yeah, I'd just pretend like I was talking to somebody, with my hand on the phone, pretending like, yeah, oh, okay, so you're not interested? All right, well, hey, man, it's nice talking to you again. It's your boy Sal, man. Check me out. All right, bro. If you need anything, let me know. All right, so he wasn't interested. But I never made the call. I was just pretending like I was talking to somebody. But, dude, that's the shit you got to do at the job sometimes, man. Hell yeah, bro. I was working at a place called Southfield Chrysler Jeep. Southfield Chrysler. Yeah, Dodge Jeep. Gosh, it was a Chrysler dealership. We were selling Chryslers. It was a Chrysler dealership. This was 2006. Southfield Chrysler Jeep. And I think they had Dodge too. I can't remember. But selling those shitty ass Chryslers that nobody wanted to buy. Dude, nobody fucks with Chrysler, bro. Back 2006, 2005, nobody was fucking with that shit. It was, man, we couldn't give them away. And then I was at one of those dealerships where the owner is always around too. Oh, God. Hey, you make any sales today? Man, if you ask me that question one more fucking time, you know I ain't making no sales today, man. Asking me if I made any sales today and nobody's came into the fucking dealership. All right, let's see. X. 1378. Well, those Impalas were booty because they overheated a lot. Those Impalas were booty, dude. They were ass. You know, they always were overheating. You know, now, I mean, you see those Impalas, those, 2000s to 2006s. Those are like, I just call them welfare beaters because everybody who basically drives those cars now is practically on welfare. They're like the little welfare beaters. Yeah, Jason Epps, bro. Of course I was in Detroit, bro. All my early videos are from Detroit, dude. I used to film like some of my early videos. You can watch me because I'm looking sideways because guys used to, I always felt like guys would try to rob me when I was out and about making my videos. All right. Yeah, if you live in Detroit, man, you got to watch your back when you're at the gas station. CVNA. Let's look at Carvana. Yeah, somebody had asked me about that steel stock, but not X. But I had to look up X because I was curious of what X was doing. Let's go to Carvana, though. This is really interesting because I didn't think this company was really. This company showing it's not profitable, but they got a real nice big space out here in Charlotte where they actually have that little vending machine and shit like that. I got to understand the business a little bit more, but again, this is a kind of one of those companies that I think also too is just, it's a heyday stock, right? It's just kind of one of those companies that fits the time. But if you're telling me, is this going to be around 10, 20 years from now? I just don't think so. And I'm always reminded by that when I read books about finance from the 1950s and 60s and 70s. And you can find those on Amazon, and many times they've been digitized. And you're reading some of these stocks that no longer exist, right? But in the book, they talk about them because they were high flyers at the time. They talk about them in the same way that we talk about these stocks for the most part. Like they're going to just be around. And, just as they're here, we have to keep in mind that these companies can go away. All right? These companies can go away and no longer exist. And Carvana, in my opinion, is one of those. Got to understand the business a little bit more. Right, because they just remind me of a more nimble CarMax. Right, CarMax is basically, they got all these like locations and all that stuff. It's basically like a used car superstore. Where Carvana, in my opinion, is basically the same thing, but they share the new car things with the established brands, so they get a cut in that and somehow, make money on that. But I'm seeing Carvana is not profitable. Oh, born and raised there, Jason? Yeah, bro. I went to Wayne State, bro. Did all my college there after the Navy. I got my GI Bill, went to Wayne State, did my 4 years there. I love the D, man. Love my time in Detroit. And the only reason I chose Wayne State is because my GI Bill paid me $690 a month. And in Detroit, $690 between when I got out, 08 to 2013, that you could get a nice place. And by the time I was a sophomore, actually a junior, I ended up getting a spot up in Dearborn, which is a suburb of Detroit. because, shit had gotten so rough in Detroit that the suburbs started getting dirt cheap. Absolutely. No company is guaranteed to be around. Well, you're right. You're right. In essence, you're right. But I mean, at the end of the day, can you say that about McDonald's? I think McDonald's could be around another 100 years. If they can get the transition to food right there, they can be around 100 years. But I think there are certain businesses that just are not structured to be around very long. They're not structured to be around very long, and Carvana is one of them. GameStop was one of those. What else? Foot Locker is another one of those. Foot Locker. This is another one of those companies that, in my opinion, is not structured to be around very long. There are a few businesses out there that are just, just out of date. Barnes and Nobles. I don't think Barnes and Nobles is going to be around 100 years from now. I think 5G will kill a lot of these broadcasting companies. I think it's going to destroy them. When you look at companies like CBS Corporation, CBS Corporation, which is a company that's already struggling, when you look at CBS. And I think they got tough times ahead, man. I think companies like this have to be more smaller, more nimble. And they're positioned to have maybe 50 to 60% come off this. McDonald's be turning kids into parent pimps. Hilarious. Well, I think the kids of this generation will never have it as good as we had McDonald's, particularly when you talk about the Happy Meals. Man, I just remember harassing my parents for Happy Meals. I mean, just borderline harassment. Vicious all day. It borderline. I don't even know how my old man had the mental strength to keep it in, because I know there had to be some days he just probably wanted to backhand me. I wanted them Happy Meals so damn bad. All right, IGC. That's another India. Well, look, I've got an article on IGC, and I called it a big old fraud, a big pump and dump. You can go look at that. I have a Medium article on IGC. I think it was called the big, how IGC will return to OTC markets or something like that. Again, I got a Wayfarer article coming out this week, and I got 10 stocks that will not survive the recession. I got that article coming out as well, too. 10 stocks that will not survive the recession. And it's mostly companies like Ralph Lauren. I got Ralph Lauren on there. I got Wayfarer on there. Got some other ones on there, too. I can't remember off the top of my head. But Ralph Lauren is one of those companies that I think won't survive. At least at the prices there are now. This is a company that's already struggling as is. What's going on, Bruce Mason? Said the burgers were bigger. You think so? You think the burgers were bigger? I don't know if the burgers have gotten smaller from the old days. I was talking to this guy. I was like, man, I knew he was old because we were going back and forth through the chat there on BlackBox. He was like, yeah. I remember in the mornings having to make up burgers and wrap them up for the customers. I was like, God damn, you old as fuck. Because I don't even remember a time where the burgers were pre-made. I don't remember. So this guy was talking about when McDonald's was selling pre-made burgers. Like you would go there and be like, yeah, I want a cheeseburger. And they'll just take it off the little heater and then put it on your tray. Like, God damn, you old boy. So I don't remember McDonald's doing that. Yeah, I know some people still do that. Some companies, does In-N-Out do that? I don't know. I've never been to an In-N-Out. I've never been to an In-N-Out. PayPal. He said PayPal's. I'll look. Yeah, PayPal is again, man. I've been praying for PayPal to go out and make a huge international play by going out and buying MoneyGram, because I think like PayPal and MoneyGram would just be like such a beautiful marriage, to be able to take that kind of digital branding of the future and like merge it with these kind of antiquated legacy companies like a MoneyGram. It just never happened. But PayPal's going to be around. I don't see anything wrong with PayPal. I mean, every time I think they're going to lose out, they just destroy their earnings. I mean, year in, year out, they just are, they destroy, earnings. And if you can see every time, you get a little bit of resistance, but for the most part, ever since January? Oh no, that's January, but they done a good job, man. They do a good job. They do a good job. Oh yeah, I gotta try it, man. Everybody says it's good when it comes to In-N-Out Burger. You said you won't regret it. Is it better than Five Guys? Is In-N-Out Burger better than Five Guys? If it's better than Five Guys, then I know it's really good. Five Guys got that, man, their burger is just, Five Guys is just dripping. If you've had Five Guys, you've had a real hamburger, man. David Franklin is better than Five Guys? Whoa. In-N-Out Burger is on par with Five Guys. Okay. What's the best 5G company coming? Verizon by far. Nobody's even close to what Verizon has right now in terms of the actual investment in 5G. Nobody's going to come close to Verizon's 5G data network that they're building out right now. No one's coming close. I've seen what Verizon is already doing in Detroit, what they're doing out here in Charlotte, what they're doing out here in Raleigh. No one's even coming close. Not even close. But that's a company too, Verizon. That's they inherited, because of that breakup out of AT&T and all these baby bells. They inherited a lot of legacy debt too. They've got a huge retirement issue. Verizon does. That's eventually going to be an issue for them. That's why their stock can't really get going like it should. But no one's comes close to it in terms of what's going to be their data network. Whataburger is better. Okay. Shake Shack. Okay. Shake Shack. Yeah, man. I look. Five Guys is the shit though. I love Five Guys. Man, their burgers just the quality of the meat, bro. It just melts. It just falls apart in your mouth, and it's just, oh my God. I can have this burger every day, but I have to control myself. Because at $18 a pop, and me, I'm in love with the French fries, so I would always take a large French fries, and the French fries is just not large; it's like super humongous large, fills the whole damn bag. Let's keep it going. TWTR. I saw Twitter got that sell recommendation or overweight recommendation. I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was the wrong time for this, and that's why I've told you about these manipulated markets when you're talking about these higher cap stocks, that a guy can just write like, yeah, I just think Twitter is overpriced, and he didn't really give a reason why. Twitter trades at a very favorable PE ratio of 21 times earnings, which is actually relatively low for as powerful of a platform Twitter is. You've got the most powerful man in the universe who's on that, who's by himself, to some accounts, has brought in another 15 to 25 million users to the platform, re-energized Twitter like nothing before. We just had, what's his name? O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson this weekend got on Twitter. Shout out to the Juice. The Juice is on Twitter right now. I saw O.J. Simpson go from 80,000 when I first found his account. He went from 80,000. He's at like he's at 580,000 now. 570,000. O.J. Simpson, the real O.J. 32. I saw him go to like 500,000. Yeah, he's at 598 now. You know, so shout out to O.J. Simpson. But yeah, man, I thought that was a bullshit call. You know, the Twitter is interesting because we haven't gotten a chance to see what Facebook, Twitter, these kind of companies will do during the recession. Right? When money is tight, what do people do online when people have no money? When people are poor, what will people, do? Will obviously we'll see a decline in advertising, and that's basically where they make their money, is these advertising revenue streams. But will they be able to subside those losses with, and I probably didn't even use the proper word, with user engagement? When people are struggling, when people have very little, do they actually use or do more online? I would actually agree with that. I would say so. When you look at the people who are producing the most content on social media, most of them are broke motherfuckers. And people with money. People with money, they don't have time to use social media like that. They get other people to do their social media. But broke motherfuckers, yeah, they make memes and spend a lot of time online because they have a lot of idle time. So I think it might actually work out for them. But in the short term, I just thought that Twitter call was bullshit. Yeah, I'm about to get off here in a minute. Yeah, I take those with a grain. You love In-N-Out. Nah, Whataburgers is good, but not like In-N-Out. Okay. A large fry from Five Guys is funny. Fiverr was a nice short. Yeah, it's expensive though. I didn't ever know no puts or calls. They're saying until sometime middle of this week, maybe even next week for options for Fiverr. That's bullshit. He's at 650 now. I haven't even refreshed it. I wouldn't doubt it. You're so sick and tired of Jason Bond. Yeah, man. Jason Bond's a fraud. We used to make that phone call when he was broke and talk about buds and such. He said when Trump leaves office, the stock market is going to fall down. No, I think he's going to, I think he's going to go into re-election with a huge problem in the stock market. We're seeing that already happening in gold. That's why I had that cover on this video, that oil and gold are telling us something, and it's time for us to listen. The gold market is clearly telling you they don't believe that this interest rate is going to work, right? And this is a live chart right now. Gold is up right now. All right, this is gold right now. This is a live gold chart. All right. This is the first time we've been at these RSI levels since February, right? All right, and then between February and May, we had some very good GDP numbers that got people scared. But, gold is telling you that people are running to safety. People are running to these bonds. They're running to, and when I say people, I mean large institutional investors, high net worth international. They're moving to safety. They're moving to safety because they understand, they see something in the short term that other people, the laymen's of the world, the slow money, the guys who, just basically are just dumping money in their 401k oblivious every month to the fact that they're putting their money in a bubble. And again, it's just these huge retirement plans like CalPERS and New Jersey's Teachers Fund and all these other damn state funds that are making these stocks just, Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. But the market is telling us something. The market is telling us that something is not right. Because for all the news, particularly at where we're at right now on the charts, gold should not be trading above 1,300. Should not be trading at above 1,300, especially if you're telling me the economy is good. We shouldn't be nowhere near 1,300. We should be nowhere near, potentially, let me put out the weekly, breaking some multi-year highs. Resistance levels, rather. Excuse me. Look at this. We're almost there. All right, we're almost there. We're almost there. This is the 2014 high at 1393. We're almost there. So we're talking about gold breaking a 5-year high, possibly any day now. So, and by the way, you got some guys who are in plays like GDX and all of them, and they're waiting for it. Here's GDX. All right. And again, we were talking about low cost trades. All right. I mean, this is a $23 ETF gold mine. This is the miners ETF. Gives you the same plays. Well, let me see. Let me get a better one. Probably be GLD. Let's just go straight up with GLD. Yeah, it's more money than GDX. But again, another opportunity for you to play on the call option. You go out of the money with some time. Look at some of these December 140s, 135s, 130s. It's not too bad on some of those. All right. Last I looked, let me go look again here. Let me see some of these December. Yeah, I'm looking at some of those December 130s. All right. These December 130s for 3.5. And again, if you don't even want to do that, you can do a vertical right now. Let me see. Yeah, let's do a put vertical on there where I'm going to sell. Let me see here. Yeah, you can do a put vertical right now. Sell the 131s, the December 31st GLDs, 131s. All right, so right here. 131 is right here. You can sell the 131 against the 130, right? So you sell the 131, you buy the 130, you'll take in $75 worth of credit. Your risk is $25. So if we pass 130, you keep 75, you spent only 25. You can buy 10 of those, right? You can buy 10 of those right now, right? 10 of those right now. You'll lose $250. You'll take in $750 worth of credit. If we pass 130, by December, you keep $750. 250 was your risk. You got a 3-to-1 risk ratio right there. I'd take that bet. I'd take that bet every time. Your best bet is if you own real estate. Yeah, absolutely. Real estate ain't going nowhere. Yeah, but that's why real estate will work out really good pertaining to people who own it. Now, if you're an institutional, we're not talking about a REIT. I don't think you survive that. I don't think you do very well in that environment, in a stagflation economy, because then now, with real estate that's depending on market income that many people can't afford, and I don't know you do so well. But obviously, if you're a homeowner, I think you do very well in a stagflation environment. I don't think trading is easy, man. I think you think people just don't put a lot of time on it, on their trades. People don't put a lot of time on their trades. You know, for example, I just gave you a trade for December, and a lot of guys will say that's a long time from now, but you know, you remember January like yesterday, right? Now we're in June. Now you're in June. Imagine if you had, you know, we look at January, you know, imagine if you had an in the money call for January or February or March or something like that. You did pretty good so far. I mean, well, for January, you actually haven't gone very, very much. Where's January? Yeah, right here. So you haven't gone up that much, but you know, you would have done very well with a deep in the money call from there. Yeah, somebody said trading is easy. I don't know about that. Appreciate you, Adrian T. I'm gonna let you guys get out of here now. I know some of you guys can stay up with me all night. I think we've been 2.5 hours. I don't be watching the clock. I really don't. Yeah, let's end with some Bitcoin, man. Shout out to the people who are in some of these Bitcoin stocks that are going to be doing so good tomorrow. So good tomorrow. Bitcoin is going to be the man tomorrow, man. Shout out to all the Bitcoin guys. I mean, GBTC, which I'm trying to pull up now. And that's going to be the stock. Man, I can't even imagine how high that's going to open up tomorrow. And for whatever reason, TradingView is being really slow with it right now. But you know, all of these Bitcoin stocks are going to do really, really well tomorrow. Let me see, BTC. God damn, what's going on? Coin, let's go. I don't know why taking forever to load up. Let's go. Shit. All right, a little quick refresh here. BTC, Coinbase. Let's go. Yeah, man, look at that. Look at that. Look at Bitcoin, man. Let's go. Let's zoom in a little bit on the daily. Boy, this is Bitcoin since April. Look at that. I mean, just beautiful. Just beautiful. And again, following, you know, that 40-80. I mean, just look at that. Just really staying in that channel, right? Between 40 and 80. Just staying in that channel, not showing any kind of weakness whatsoever. And boy, Bitcoin is a monster right now. Oh yeah, all of them. Yeah, appreciate you, David Franklin. I don't know about Riot. I don't know. Is Riot? You saying Riot is a good one? I thought Riot was a loser for the most part. I don't know what's going on with TradingView right now. I don't know if they're updating or what. It's fucking up. I don't know. I'm going to end it on this Bitcoin chart here. But BTC, okay, finally pull up Riot. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Riot. Yeah, I had saw Riot last week, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Where are they at right now? But I'm not a fan of what's been going on in Riot blockchain. I mean, obviously they got some catching up to do, and maybe a bounce is definitely due for them. But you got to wonder where they've been over the last month and a half. You know, where they've been over the last month and a half. You know, you got to question that. How much is TradingView for 1 year? It's $30 a month. So, you know, three something. $30 a month. Yeah, for TradingView. And I got the Pro Plus or whatever. It's pretty good. I like TradingView. I like it. The free version is pretty good, but I think they're limited in a way. It pays for itself, man. I mean, if you're serious about trading, you're gonna pay the $30 a month and just knock it out, and your trades should pay for it. All right, if you're serious about the craft. That Thinkorswim, yeah, guys use Thinkorswim. That's free. Thinkorswim is free. So, if you don't care too much about that, it's free. There's a free broker that I'm going to be doing something with. They're basically like Robinhood. Anybody heard of First Trade? First Trade is, I'm going to be starting promoting heavy for them and their affiliate program. So First Trade is basically, they've got one up on Robinhood because they are free brokers, so free option trades, free stock trades. They do everything that Robinhood does, but one thing that makes them, in my opinion, better than Robinhood is the fact that they have telephone customer service from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I think that makes them a very, very lucrative potential competitor for Robinhood. And I think I can drag some people who are on Robinhood to First Trade. They've got a great mobile app. I've been playing with the mobile app. It's been pretty good. So you just open an account with First Trade? Yeah. God damn it, I could have got you, Weyl. I could have got you. But yeah, I'm going to be putting out a lot of ads on First Trade, on Facebook, Instagram, and pushing that out there because I think customer service is underrated. The ability to call someone, and I think that's really, really underrated. And a lot of guys who are on Robinhood, they have always, every time I've talked to them, they've always ran into a situation where they've had to email, and they've always said that's been the one part of Robinhood they just absolutely hate, the fact that they've got to send an email and they just can't talk to somebody right away. And I think that's where First Trade just beats them. And people need to learn more about them, but they just don't have the Robinhood-esque budget, which doesn't make them bad because they've been around since 1985. So it's not, they're not new to the game. They just don't have billions of dollars worth of Wall Street backing them like Robinhood does because Robinhood is trying to go public. So if you've got a lot of leverage there on the Robinhood side, that's just looking to cash out. Yes, First Trade. Yes, First Trade. That's correct, Mr. J1S. First Trade. Yeah, absolutely free. Free options, free stock buying. If you use their cash account, like any other broker, I mean, it's basically free trading. They're making money just like Robinhood is. Basically, if you keep your money in there, they borrow against it, and they're doing their own kind of thing with it. But they're FDCI insured, all of that, everything like Robinhood is. All right, they're just a smaller group, but the app is wonderful. Played around with the app. The online setup was great, easy. I didn't have to submit any documents, just type in my name, social, all that. I was approved within 2 days. I wanted level 3 options, and now they gave that to me. And then I decided to go back to, of course, to do the cash account thing. They gave that to me, so it's easy to move between. Everything worked exactly what they said it would. All right. So unlike TD, you don't have to submit. You just tell them, hey, I want level 3. They'll give you level 3 as long as, of course, you're answering the way that they want it answered. Hey, yes, I have experience. Yes, I've been trading. Yes, I make 100 trades a month or 100 trades a year or whatever. Plus. Actually, like 500, I think, is preferably. Short selling, I haven't looked into that. I haven't looked into it because I didn't even put any money into it. I gotta ask them about that. But I wouldn't bet on short selling. I wouldn't bet on it. Very much like a Robinhood with customer service. That's what I'm just gonna say. Think Robinhood with telephone customer service. A platform that's very much like a TD Ameritrade, very much TD Americ, a TD-ish type of platform. They've got a desktop platform. They've got the mobile, iOS and Android. So it's a really interesting shop they got over there. Yeah, I'm going to get that link out. I'm going to get that link out in a bit. So my next episode, I'll have the ad. I'll have the ad probably running pre-roll or prior to the intro, in the middle there somewhere. And I might go ahead and get rid of Equity Feed too. I fucks with Equity Feed. I mean, they've been good people to me. They allow me to use the software. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, I don't know, money talks. Money talks. And the ability to use the software doesn't, it's not the same as actually being able to push something that's going to put some money in your pocket. You know what I mean? So, Equity Feed might have to go. You said you can short on first trade? Okay. I didn't know that. JD.com future. Let's take a look. Let me see. I don't know. My Equity Feed was acting up, so yeah, it's still kind of fucking up. I don't know what they're doing, or I might have to refresh my because I haven't refreshed the computer in almost 4 days, so it might be in my end. I haven't turned off this computer in like 4 or 5 days. Here's JD.com. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything here. I don't see anything here on JD.com. If anything, that candlestick that I don't want to even call it a hanging man, because it's not even that, because it's got a nice looking shadow below it, because you did have guys want to buy that low, but quite disappointing how it gapped down the very next day. All right, it's a very interesting candlestick with that Friday move, because you had guys almost sell off $1 and then was able to come in the middle ground there and meet in the half for a 50-cent loss on the day. So tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. I mean, it's a very liquid. I'm surprised how liquid this stock is. 9.1 million on a $27 stock. That's quite a bit of money coming in and out of this. That's very interesting. Yeah, if you can short on first trade, I'm surprised. I'm gonna get that link out. I mean, I'm probably gonna, I fucked up by probably telling you, some of you guys in here already, but there's more than enough money out there for everybody who wants it bad enough when it comes to that kind of thing. Yum Brands. Yeah, Yum Brands, man. I for a long time I thought this was just candy, but they've got like restaurants, and they own quite a bit of legacy franchises, man. Yum Brands. So they've been doing really well, killing it on earnings. I looked at the stock a while ago because I thought the PE was quite high, but they're actually pulling in revenue. They're actually pulling in some really good revenue, nice margins on their products, because what they do is they actually own every step of the process on some of their candies. Everything from putting the plastic on to the sourcing of the plastic. Yum Brands owns that chain. So it's a very, very interesting company to do some research on. If you take a moment to read their 10K, you can really learn a lot about this business. Very interesting business. Yum versus McDonald's. I like Yum better than McDonald's, and here's why. McDonald's revenue, stateside revenues, they're losing. They're actually going down. They're actually losing money. So I'm looking at McDonald's as a future correction here very shortly. Right now, if you go say that on Twitter, they actually have like gangs that will come after you. They're like these gangs of like 20 Twitter accounts. If you say anything bad on Twitter about McDonald's, they just bull rush you to death. They just hit your account with all kind of just like, fuck you. And I'm guessing they're like guys over the age of 65 who probably got a lot of money in the stock. But I contend a correction could be coming from McDonald's shortly. And again, you can just pull up the charts and see them for yourself. You can pull up the charts and see them for yourself when you look at, the websites like marketbeat.com that do a good job of giving you a graphical presentation of earnings in McDonald's. And you can see it. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys here in just a minute how you actually had an earnings decline in McDonald's, and I want to end on that. And I know I've said that like 4 times because I'll keep going and going and going. All right, let me see if I can dig this up here. Here's McDonald's earnings again on marketbeat.com. All right, so here's the Q 2019 projections moving forward. I think those projections are ridiculous, but let's look at Q8, Q3 18, 14, 19. 19 was a huge miss. 19 was a miss for McDonald's. If you can see that last bluish bar right there. It was a miss. All right, but the stock went up on the miss, which was absolutely ridiculous. So they've had to readjust earnings now 3 in a row. I think this 4th one is going to be a miss as well. But, the market's not pricing that in. They're just enjoying the cheap money and enjoying the ride. And it is what it is for McDonald's right now. So, but McDonald's is definitely on my list as a great short for the future. But right now, man, the trend is just higher because what's happening is that, again, when we talk about these 401ks, we talk about these teacher union funds that are basically on autopilot to buy. You're retiring. Another teacher comes on. She signs up for the plan. She's going to contribute. Boom, that money goes into the market, buys every ETF with McDonald's that the ETF goes in to the market, buys to rebalance. So, we need a major market, impact to really happen to see some of these stocks come down. Yeah. You're still holding it from 20? Okay. That's what's up, bro. Yeah, Yum is definitely vertically integrated, man. Some of their companies, and they do a really, really good job of that. And unlike McDonald's, which isn't vertically integrated, I mean, they got to actually go out and source their information from local providers. Particularly when they talk about exposure to international markets, that's where you have McDonald's gets really fucked because they don't ship their beef; they do locally provide. And then you got instances where union activity. Particularly when you talk about Western Europe, and you also have to do what's going on in Asia with dollar fluctuations there. So McDonald's has underlying issues that the market is not appreciating right now that eventually will become issues for the stock. And look, you're supposed to short on strength. So, you don't go in now. You don't go in now because, we're above some very high probability moving average. Definitely not Yum, but you talk about McDonald's, we're still well above, almost $5 above some of these high moving averages. I mean, we're $3 above the 10 moving average, and the 10 moving average is the short-term moving average, right? So we're $3 above that. So that's a lot of buying force. That's pushing the stock higher. All right. So let me get out of here, guys. Let me get out of here. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Always a lot of great stock talk. I really hope you enjoy that. I love this shit so much. I can just go on and on and on. But I appreciate you guys joining me. I'll be back this Wednesday. All right, trying to keep on this Sunday, Wednesday schedule. All All right. Last week, we had guys, oh, Sal, I love you, but I love the NBA Finals. So now NBA Finals is over. Let me get some love in with y'all until the football season starts. But luckily football is the weekend, so we're able to go live Sunday nights, Wednesday nights, and kick it. Appreciate you, Howard Cooper. Thank you, bro. K-Mac, thank you, sir. Jason Epps, thank you. Londale Carter, who else was in here? AP, I appreciate you. K-Mac 15, appreciate you. Rel, thank you, sir. Bigga KH, thank you. Anybody who was new here, please press subscribe right now. If you enjoy what I'm doing right now, please press like and be a part of our future episodes. Love to have you. Love to have you. Three Hooks, appreciate you. Patrick Lindsay, thank you, man. Shout out to everybody who's joined the show. 2.5 years on. Almost 3 years now, Sean. This is just the beginning, man. We got a lot of trading, a lot of news to go. This show has been a really great documentary that I think is going to be analyzed years and years from now, particularly if the recession happens, that big drop, because it's just going to be awesome to go back and listen to how we were talking about some of these stocks at all-time highs, how individual investors were thinking, their mindsets, and how we pursued the craft. Almost 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. Almost 4 years. Yeah. So good shit, guys. All right, guys. Shout out to everyone who signed up with BlackBox. Your free sessions is already started, but Monday is going to be awesome for you. You're going to really love the product. Those of you guys who are kind of late, I'm going to send you out the email. Hopefully they can get to you by tomorrow morning. I really hope I'm going to fight to get you guys in who emailed me tonight to get you that 5-day free trial for BlackBox stocks. So look out for that. Email me if you whatever reason you used to be a customer, you're not a customer anymore. happypennystocks@gmail.com. We'll try to get you in there. Yes, sir. Definitely. Yes, Londy. I remember that. T. Evans, appreciate you, bro. Shirley Lewis, again, everyone who watched and who's watching in the future. Until next time, take care. I'm out.